This could be the biggest mistake of WSB Director Z's life, and he doesn't even know it yet. We're looking at a cover-up so massive, so deeply sickening, that it threatens to tear Port Charles apart from the inside out. 2 men are missing. A grieving mother is being pushed to the absolute brink of her sanity. And an innocent man is currently guarding the gates of hell without even realizing what he is protecting. Guys, if you ask me, the WSB just woke up a sleeping monster, and her name is Liesl Obrecht. To understand the absolute explosion that is about to happen, we have to look at the chain reaction of trauma Liesl has endured. 8 years ago, her world shattered when she lost her beloved Nathan. That kind of grief changes a person. Then, she had to endure the agonizing roller coaster of Britt's supposed death, only to miraculously get her daughter back. But the real mindbender? The return of Nathan after 7 long years. We all saw it. Liesl saw it. She knew this Nathan was different. His mannerisms were off, his personality was shifted, but she ignored every red flag because a mother's desperate heart will believe any miracle it is handed. But that wasn't the real problem. The real nightmare started in the cold, damp dungeons of Windemere when Liesl was locked in a cage by Ross Cullum. That is where the ultimate betrayal was exposed. The man wearing Nathan's face finally broke down and confessed. He was never Nathan. He was Cassius, the secret twin brother, living a stolen life out of sheer desperation and regret. Imagine the psychological torture of hearing that. But here is where things get messy. Liesl didn't destroy him. She forgave him. She accepted Cassius as her own flesh and blood. The family was finally healing. And then everything spiraled. The explosive battle of Windemere tore that fragile reunion to shreds. When the smoke cleared, Jocelyn Jax was bleeding out and rushed to General Hospital. But Cassius? Gone. Ross Cullum? Vanished. The WSB swooped in with terrifying speed. Within hours, they painted a perfectly fabricated picture for the press. They declared Cassius dead, branding him as the ultimate villain, the mastermind behind the entire cold fusion nightmare. And Cullum? They spun him into a heroic martyr who died trying to stop the rogue twin. Guys, this is where it gets interesting. Do you honestly think Liesl Obrecht is going to swallow that WSB propaganda? Not a chance. If Cassius is truly dead, Liesl demands a body. She demands a funeral. She demands the right to mourn her son. But there is no body. And that changes everything. Liesl knows in her gut that Cassius is alive. And she is not just fighting for herself. She is fighting for James. That little boy spent months looking at Cassius, believing his father had returned from the grave. Even after Cody Bell broke the boy's heart by revealing the twin swap, the bond between James and Cassius was real. What happened next may be even worse for the WSB. They forgot who they were dealing with. They pushed a grieving mother into a corner, completely ignoring the fact that she is a brilliant, ruthless, mad scientist. Let's rewind a bit. We know Liesl stepped in for Britt to complete the cold fusion prototype. She did it to protect Cassius. That means Liesl holds the keys to the kingdom. She knows the formulas. She knows the science. She knows exactly how dangerous this project is. And now she is weaponizing that knowledge. Liesl decides to play a very dangerous game. She takes her cold fusion secrets and marches straight into the shadows to confront the WSB. She wants to make a deal with Z. Her silence in exchange for Cassius's life. It is a bold, desperate move. But Z is arrogant. He thinks he holds all the cards. He dismisses her, thinking a grieving mother is no match for the most powerful intelligence agency in the world. But wait. It gets worse. Rejecting Liesl Obrecht is the catalyst for the greatest infiltration Port Charles has ever seen. If the WSB won't give her answers, she is going to rip those answers from their cold, dead hands. Liesl goes completely rogue. She begins stalking Z. She tracks his movements, his secret meetings, his burner phones. She watches him like a hawk, waiting for him to make one tiny mistake. And finally, he does. Z's hidden trail leads Liesl straight back to the scene of the crime. Windemere. The castle on Spoon Island isn't an abandoned crime scene. It is a fully operational black site. The WSB didn't shut down the cold fusion project after Cullum's supposed death. They stole it. They hijacked the entire operation and moved it underground. The catacombs beneath Windemere have always been a labyrinth of horrors, but now they are the WSB's most guarded secret. And that brings us to the most mind-blowing twist of all. If the WSB is hiding a massive underground lab, what else are they hiding? Liesl puts the pieces together. Cassius isn't dead. He is a prisoner, locked in a cage beneath the castle, being used or tortured for the WSB's gain. But guys, my mind is racing with an even darker possibility. What if the WSB's secrets go back even further? What if the real Nathan West never died 8 years ago? Think about it. The WSB is known for faking deaths, kidnapping high-value targets, and running psychological experiments. What if they took Nathan all those years ago and locked him away? What if both of Liesl's sons are currently breathing the damp air of the Windemere dungeons? One brother declared dead a decade ago, the other declared dead just last week. Two ghosts, trapped in the same nightmare, kept as leverage or test subjects by Z. The thought alone is enough to make your blood run cold. But the WSB isn't stupid. They know someone might come snooping, so they hired the ultimate guard dog, Jason Morgan. After his own traumatizing captivity, Jason returned to Port Charles wanting a clean break. He wanted out of Sonny Corinthos' mob. He wanted to prioritize Danny. So when Z offers him a highly classified, supposedly legitimate security contract to guard a WSB asset on Spoon Island, Jason takes it. He thinks he is just guarding classified documents or a safe house. Jason Morgan, the man who just escaped a WSB prison, is now unknowingly acting as a warden for another one. He patrols the grounds of Windemere, completely oblivious to the agonizing screams and the unethical science happening hundreds of feet below his boots. The irony is sickening. Z is playing Jason like a fiddle, using his desire for a legitimate life to turn him into an unwitting accomplice to a massive human rights violation. But then comes the night that changes everything. Liesl Obrecht doesn't care who is guarding the door. She breaches the perimeter of Windemere under the cover of darkness. She bypasses the outer alarms, driven by the primal instinct of a mother fighting for her cubs. Jason's instincts kick in. He senses the intrusion. The silent alarm is tripped, and the hunt begins. Jason draws his weapon, tracking the shadow moving through the grand halls of the Cassadine estate. The cat-and-mouse game escalates as Liesl slips behind a hidden bookshelf, descending into the forgotten catacombs. Jason follows, his flashlight cutting through the oppressive darkness. But the deeper he goes, the more his confusion grows. This isn't just an old wine cellar. He finds reinforced steel doors, keypad locks, security cameras that shouldn't exist. He realizes with a sinking feeling that Z lied to him. This isn't a safe house. This is a fortress of secrets. Jason finally corners Liesl in a dimly lit corridor deep beneath the earth. He raises his gun, ordering her to stand down, but Liesl doesn't flinch. She doesn't cower. She looks Jason dead in the eye and tells him exactly what he is protecting. She exposes Z's lies. She tells him about the cold fusion lab, the stolen research, and the prisoners being held against their will. Jason's world tilts on its axis as he realizes he has been manipulated into doing the WSB's dirty work. Jason lowers his weapon. The mob enforcer turned WSB pawn suddenly wakes up. He demands Liesl show him the proof. Together, the unlikely duo breaches the final security door. And what they find on the other side is a scene straight out of a dystopian nightmare. The Cold Fusion Project is fully operational, humming with dangerous energy. Scientists in hazmat suits are scurrying around, completely funded and controlled by Z. But that is not even the biggest shock. Beyond the laboratory glass, in two separate, heavily reinforced holding cells, sit the ghosts of Port Charles. In one cell, battered but breathing, is Cassius Phazon, the man the world believes died a villain. And in the cell next to him, a man with the exact same face, older, hardened by years of isolation. The real Nathan West. Alive. Breathing. Staring back at his mother through the reinforced glass. Everything we thought we knew is obliterated in that single second. Jason Morgan stares at the two men, realizing the sheer magnitude of the WSB's corruption. The agency didn't just cross a line, they erased it. The cold, calculating, stone-cold persona snaps back into place. Jason isn't a guard anymore. He is a weapon, and he has just realized who the real enemy is. He looks at Liesl, and an unspoken pact is formed. They're not just going to break Cassius and Nathan out. They're going to burn this entire operation to the ground. Jason starts planting explosives around the cold fusion reactors. Liesl works frantically to hack the cell doors. The alarms are blaring. Red lights are flashing. The WSB strike team is mobilizing above ground, preparing to descend into the catacombs to eliminate the intruders. The clock is ticking down to 0. The entire foundation of Windemere is about to be blown into the stratosphere. Guys, this is where the tension is unbearable. Can Jason and Liesl get the twins out of those cages before the WSB Death Squad breaches the lab? Can they navigate the labyrinth of the catacombs while carrying two severely weakened men? And what happens when the cold fusion reactors go critical? The explosion won't just destroy the lab, it could take out the entire island. Jason is ready to sacrifice himself to ensure Danny never has to deal with the WSB again. The blast doors are sealing. The countdown is at 10 seconds. Jason raises his gun toward the entrance as the WSB agents flood the corridor. Liesl grabs Nathan and Cassius, dragging them toward a secret escape hatch. But someone else steps out of the shadows. Someone who has been pulling the strings this entire time. A gun clicks in the dark. A familiar voice echoes over the alarms. And suddenly, escaping Spoon Island seems absolutely impossible.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.